quick video today of the £500 touring bike, the Triumph Sprint GT 1050. You probably saw in the last video I did an update on the works that was carried out to the bike, obviously the brakes, the exhaust, etc. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity. Now it's 14 degrees today to take the bike out for a quick run, just to make sure that we haven't bought an absolute pup with a gearbox issue or a major clutch issue. So yeah, let's get aboard and go for a quick run and see what we have actually bought. It's starting to rain now as well. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. The battery's been a little bit low as well, so it needs a proper charge. As I say, we won't go mad far today. It started to rain, so yeah, to say that's a bit crap is an understatement. It's my French coming out. Well, I've got a new camera, new mic set up as well, because the mic was just windy as hell. I used a different bike the other day. Oh, it's really beginning to hash it down now, isn't it? It's been dry pretty much all morning. So I get all my stuff together, get the bike out, ready to do the video, and then it starts raining. So I'm committed now. So c'est la vie. So first impressions, well, the gearbox feels okay, clutch feels good. The exhaust is holding up after the work that's been carried out on it. Oh, wet drain. Comfort wise, that was something I was a little bit worried about with this type of bike, was because obviously it's a touring bike, but it is a little bit on the wrist side when you sit on the bike first thing, so I was a little bit worried that I'd have to get risers or something for it, but no, it actually doesn't feel too bad. It's no adventure bike, it's no GS, that's for sure. It actually feels a little bit smaller than it sort of looks, to be fair, when you're on board. When you look at the bike, it looks like a fairly large bike, but when you're actually on it, it doesn't feel that big at all, which is kind of nice. Get over the road, Mr. Rolls Royce. Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of wind noise from it. The screen seems to be doing a good job. You can obviously get aftermarket screens for these as well. I mean, it is a full-on touring bike. I haven't got any of the panniers or the top box on today. Right, let's give the brakes a bit of a whirl. Yeah, they feel quite good actually. Always a bit worried here. There's always one. Give her a bit of a blip to let her know we're there. Thank you. Jesus. Alright. Yeah, relatively mild today, so that's a plus point. So the seat's quite comfortable. It's not too firm. I mean, I tend to be a bit of a wuss when it comes to comfort on a bike, to be honest. If it isn't real sit up, big bars, then yeah, I tend to complain. So this is the stuff that really tends to sort of stress my wrists out, is the slow riding stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how it copes with that. This bike's got ABS, which is nice. It's quite an old bike now, for honest. 2011. It was based on the ST 1050. I think the difference with this one is it's got a slightly longer swing arm and it was more sort of touring based than the other ST, which was a touring bike but not as sort of dedicated as this is. So they've got the preload settings as well to have the big panniers on the back, have a massively large top box, and I mean massively large. It even comes with a 12 volt socket in it, which is quite a nice thing to have. So what we in for the bike then? So I paid £500 for it. I paid the courier another £100 to have it delivered, so that's £600. And all on the brakes and the exhaust and all the other sort of gubbins. I'm probably going to have to buy a new battery as well. I've been trying not to, just charge this one, but I'm not confident with it. So I think if we err on the side of caution and say £200, I think we're in it for £800, fully in. That's including the MOT, which, to be honest, I cheated a little bit there, because I was going to take you guys on the MOT run for it, but when the MOT was booked the other day, the weather was just absolutely awful, so there was no possibility of well, there was a possibility of riding, but I didn't want to, so I put it in the van, took it down, and it passed the MOT with flying colours, which is good. And I think it's covered about 40,000 miles now, 43,000 miles, so it's not a massively high mile bike. It's done a few miles, but yeah, nothing you'd be concerned about. And obviously, before I got the bike, I mean, if you haven't watched the other videos, I'll give you a bit of a brief download on how I come about the bike. The previous owner had owned the bike from new, and he took the bike into Triumph, and long story short, to fix the issues the bike had, that they said the bike had, would be the best part of £3,000, which just made the bike unviable to keep. So at this point he'd already spent, I think he'd spent over about nearly £600 having the bike fully serviced. And then Triumph had said, oh well, you need to have the exhaust done, you need new brakes, you need this, you need that. So yeah, the list got a little bit high, to say the least. So he was like, well, this isn't viable, I'm just going to put it on cheap. I purchased it for £500, I did all the work, and yeah, I think the main crux of the price was that Triumph wanted, I think it was like 1,800 quid, well, maybe not that much, 1,200-1,300 quid for downpipes and the O2 sensor and the labour that was involved with that, whereas we were able to fix the bike for next to nothing really. It needed a new exhaust clamp. Yeah, we just sort of fettled with the exhaust to make it fit a bit better. Oh, we'll watch him here. And yeah, there wasn't really too much of a problem. It was an issue I thought it was going to be a pain, and it wasn't in the end. So yeah, we saved literally thousands. So yeah, and I didn't even need to service it when I got it either, because it's literally just been done by Triumph. So the tyres are 2023 as well, so there is not another penny needs to be spent on this bike once I get a new battery for it. It should be about 50 quid. But it just makes it more sort of, you don't worry then, makes it a little bit more reliable, because I've come out and started the bike and the battery's been dead. But yeah, it's the first time I've actually ridden it, and I'm pleasantly surprised. It rides really nice. You know, it's not going to blow your socks off, you know, it's not that type of bike. It was never designed to be that. Oh my word, see, they're just pulling out every which way today. Yeah, it's not going to be, you know, a massively exciting bike, but that obviously was never the plan with them. Would you go over to France on it? Yes, easily. Oh, it's, as I say, you get good wind protection with it. It's got enough grunt. It's got a nice sound. It's not got an annoying sound. It's got the standard exhaust on there as well, which is nice. It's just got a nice sound to it as well. It doesn't drone. Well, quite a few bikes like this, on the motorway, they tend to just drone at you. I mean, obviously I've not taken this on the motorway yet, but I can tell already that it's not going to be an irritating bike to live with. And it's ULEZ compliant as well, which is a large point around where we are currently in South London. So yeah, at the moment I either need a bike that's over 40 years old or ULEZ compliant. So yeah, I won't be having anything that I have to pay £12.50 a day to go and use. Which, saying that, actually, I don't know if you've seen the video. Oh my word, it's amateur night. The BMW K1 is a 1990 on the G plate. So that's not old enough to qualify for ULEZ exemption, which is a bit of a pain, but I'll just try and stay away from the ULEZ areas. Whenever I need to use that bike, I'll be coming out of South London rather than sort of driving round, or riding round, should I say. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit on the wrist now, if I'm honest. Not too bad. As I say, you can get risers, so I might look into that for the sake of 45 quid. But I don't know. Oh, that is one manky looking fox. Yeah, I don't know if the cables then need to be have longer cables to put on, or it will just fit with the cable. So that's something I need to look into. So yeah, it's not a big deal. But as I say, it was just what you know. Obviously, the reason I went for this bike was literally just because of the price. Obviously, I buy a lot of motorbikes, still a lot of motorcycles. But now and again, you get one that you just think, well, it's just too cheap to get rid of. Like, there's no point in selling it. I might as well just hold on to that and have that as my sort of touring bike. So I'm looking at doing a trip on this bike. Well, I wanted to do it sooner rather than later, but life has sort of taken over a little bit recently for that. I mean, I wanted to take this to France, which is still the plan. But yeah, I've got to check dates, and yes, my other friend who's supposed to be coming with me as well has not been able to make the trip I wanted to do, so I'm going to set the trip back a little bit later than first thought, which just gives me time to get used to the bike as well and make a bit more content with it. It is it a heavy bike? Well, yes it is, but it's not ungainly. You know, it's not like, oh, you know, I'm loitering this thing around. It's, you know, it's nothing like that. It moves nicely. It brakes. The brakes are really good now, especially after having the new rear disc and all new pads around. But the pads need to be bedded in a bit. Throttle response is nice and smooth, which is a big plus point. Some people moan about the fueling of these bikes, but I've got no issue with this at all. As I say, it's just a quick run out today. This is the first time I've actually ridden the bike, and to say I'm pleasantly surprised is probably on point. God, why so many bloody so many drains put just right at the most annoying part. Ugh. Give it a bit of beanage up here. Yeah, she moves okay. As I say, this bike you can do anything on. You know, you can have a bit of fun on it, or you can do a big tour on it, or any of that sort of stuff. I mean, the previous owner, I think, used it just for sort of commuting more than anything. What are these drivers doing today? He's literally driving down the middle of the road. Right, it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's one of those days when you go out riding and everyone is driving like an idiot. I think it's probably, you notice it more on a bike than you do in a car, because on a bike you're so wary constantly, whereas a car you're a little bit more relaxed. But just one of those days when you go out for a ride and just everyone is your enemy. It's just one of those days, I think. So yes, it won't be a massively long test ride. I'll be on my way back now. It's the postie. And hopefully I want to give it a good clean as well, because obviously I've done all the work. I've given it a quick sort of rinse over, but nothing major, and I don't think this bike's been clean for a while. The previous owner was very diligent with the service history and looking after the bike, but he wasn't a polisher. But in fairness, the bike is actually in really good nick. Fairings wise, there's no cracks, no damage, no issues at all. I was going to say never drops. I'm tempting fate by saying that right now, aren't I? So I'm not going to say that till I get home. Here we go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more miles on the bike. The peg height's quite good as well. It's a little bit erring on the side of sporty, actually, surprisingly. You compare it to something like a VFR 800 or something, that's a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more cocooned than this is. This, you do feel like you are sitting on it rather than sitting in it. So yeah, that gives me that sort of sportier feel. We haven't really given it any beans to really sort of comment on its sporting prowess, but yeah, to call it a sporty bike is a bit of a stretch. But first impressions are good. I'd like to take it for a longer run. Today really was just to get out and just to basically test ride it to make sure it was okay and there's no faults. I've had no warning lights. I've had no funny noises, no issues with the gearbox or the clutch or any of those things. I mean, actually I did do a buyer's guide with this bike, not on this specific bike, but if you're buying a bike in general, which you may want to check out if you are looking to buy a used bike. What I will also do as well is a selling your bike video as well, and the best way to sell your bike to get the most money for it. So that's another video I'll potentially put up this weekend. Maybe I'll make a few notes and do that weekend, because I think that's, to be honest, just as well, it is just as helpful, you know, because the likelihood is you're needing to sell your old bike to buy a new one. So the more money you have, the more money you get to spend on the new one. So I think that's probably quite a beneficial video. But we'll leave it there for today, guys. I will try and get another couple more videos out this weekend. The weather, I think, is supposed to rain actually all week, so I won't be a lot of riding videos. But yeah, I just wanted to get one out on the bike and yeah, and just show you what I thought of it. And yeah, first impressions, very pleased. I've also, next week, so subscribe for this, I am test riding the new Hornet and the new GB350 Honda from Dobles in Croydon, or Coulsdon rather. So yeah, so subscribe, guys, to see that, and yeah, see what you think. Well, I'll let you know what my first impressions are of those bikes. So have a good weekend all.